Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
So, continuing on here, Gary, you've been reporting this Damian Lillard saga throughout, and I want to hear from you on this. As the Celtics feel like one of the stronger destinations for him, and my big question is whether he's going to sign this summer and, I don't know, take a minimum, take a mid-level, let the Bucks money offset, and allow him to be on a team through his recovery process and get started building toward what he's going to do probably, I'd say, the next season after this one, or at least late this season. So are we going to see him sign with a team this summer potentially, or is he going to wait till next summer when he's healthy and can maybe sign more of a real long-term contract?
Yeah, it's an interesting – I think no one really knows what is going on in Lillard because this is the first time he's been like a free agent. And I was told that he was kind of ready to leave. Milwaukee just wasn't ever really a great fit. Obviously, when Portland was looking to move him, he wanted to go to Miami. That didn't work out. There was the Celtic rumors, and I know our friend Chris Haynes was like, no, he ain't going to Boston. I've been told that that's a little different now, and that he's open to new teams, and obviously he wants to win a championship. The only thing he does not have in his career is a title. He's top 75. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He's fourth all time in 3-point makes. So the only thing Dame doesn't have is a chip, or even getting close to one, right? So I think it all depends on what he wants to do in terms of, like, does he want to make $10 million instead of, let's say the Celtics have the taxpayer mid-level at 5.6 or 5.7. Like, does he say, no, I think I want 10? Like, is it, he was paid very handsomely in Portland. He signed the max deal there. He's going to get all of his cash from the Bucks. So I don't think money is the issue. It might be fit. It might be just kind of taking the summer to spend time with his family. I know he loves Portland, and I think what people may have overlooked, or, he had a really nasty divorce, and his family, his kids stayed in Portland while he was in Milwaukee. So I just think he's enjoying the home time. I think maybe a condition to sign with the Celtics might be just to spend some more time rehabbing in Portland. I don't think the Celtics would have a major issue. I think they can, Dame's a professional. He's not going to lax off and, to be around his kids. I mean, they've encouraged family thing. Obviously, Noah's written a lot about that, just kind of how the Celtics really encourage family. And so, to me, I just think it all depends on what Dame wants. I know the Celtics have an interest. I think it would be awesome, in my opinion, to unleash him in 26-27 along with Tatum and Brown and White and Pritchard, and then see about winning a chip, because, like, you have to try to take advantage of the window of Tatum and Brown. They're not going to be young forever. And Jalen's a few months from 29. Jayson's coming off a major injury. We can't assume they're going to be, balling at a high level till they're 35 and 36. Like, you just can't do that. You've got to hit the coals where they're hot.
Yeah, it's interesting because there was really not a lot of momentum the last time around. And I wonder what part of Dame is like, well, I wanted to go to Miami. Now I have the opportunity to go to Miami if I want. I assume any team would sign him for a minimum. If he's willing to take that, I'd probably get more, but he kind of has his pick right now. I would guess, unless there are some, if there are some teams that don't want to take the 1 year on their books for a player who's not going to be able to contribute. But the question for me is, who is going to be able to give him the best chance at winning a championship in a year? And it's so hard to gauge right now because so much is going to change. Like, I've seen him linked to the Warriors because he's from Oakland. Like, is that team going to really have much left in the tank in another year from now? Teams that are kind of middling, they're on the rise, maybe they present a better opportunity. So I'm sure a big part of his calculus will be trying to kind of figure out a year in advance who's going to be in the mix. And so in a sense, there's almost like some advantage to waiting till December if he can, right? See how some of these teams shake up, and like, are the Celtics a total disaster? Are the Warriors, Steph Curry got hurt, knock on wood, like stuff like that. Like, I think he has a little bit of incentive to not make a decision right now and to just see how the teams that he's eyeing come together in the fall, right? So do you anticipate that this decision will be made like this summer, or is this something that you think would probably spill into next season?
Yeah, that's the interesting part. We don't know because this is his first time in free agency. I don't think he's in a hurry, but I think he understands the politics and the business of the NBA. And for him to wait till like, hey, I'm going to wait till February to the trade deadline, like he could do that and he could just kind of rehab on his own. I'm sure he's got a professional, personal trainer in Portland, and it's going to put him through all the rehab, or does he want to be affiliated with an organization? Does he want to be kind of a part of a team and knowing that, like, because the Celtics, let's be honest, like they can go to him and go, okay, Dame, like if you really want to come back this year, you can, or take the year off and then come back fully healthy in 26, 27, and then we'll have a chance to win a championship. And I think what people are overlooking about Dame is he played years in Portland with like a stomach muscle issue. And then remember, he missed like he missed most of a season having surgery. And he kind of said after that surgery, like, I feel younger because I played so long with this situation. So does that put a couple of years on his career? Like, did we see serious slippage in Milwaukee with Dame? I didn't really see serious slippage. I just saw kind of a poor fit. I just saw everybody was talking about the pick and roll with Giannis, and that never developed. And then they went through Adrian Griffin situation, and they brought in Doc, and then Giannis missed some time, and then Dame. It just didn't work out there. It was not a great fit. So
he had a blood clot too.
Yeah, the blood clot.
No, I was going to say, Gary, that's a great point, because I do think obviously the Achilles injury is a major one, and who knows what he's going to be when he comes back. But the reality is that like people kind of talked about in the last few years, like he had already really declined, but he really hadn't. Like he had a fine couple shooting seasons. Like the team being a mess and the situation not working out, I don't think was reflective of him not being the player that he was cracked out to be. Like maybe he's not the best he's ever been, but he had two solid years in Milwaukee, and I do feel like it's been a little bit like that story's kind of changed a little bit in the media because everybody thought that this was going to be like the next championship team and that they were going to be the most lethal duo, and it just didn't pan out. But up until the injury, I think he was still an elite player. And after the fact, just because he's such a sharpshooter and like has been a historic all-time shooter, I think you take him if he's interested. Like I can't imagine the Celtics not wanting him for a good price because it seems kind of low risk, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his numbers in the 2 years in Milwaukee compared to Portland, they're eerily similar. Like he shot, he averaged 25.2 in 11 years in Portland. He averaged 24.6 in 2 years in Milwaukee. He shot 44% in Portland, 43.4 in Milwaukee, 37% from three in Portland, 36.4 in Milwaukee. Like these are eerily similar numbers. His rebounds were a little bit up and his assists were a little bit up in his Milwaukee time. So this is not, you're not seeing a major drop off of like shooting percentage, 3-point percentage. His 2-point percentage was better, slightly better in the 2 years in Milwaukee than it was in Portland. So I didn't look at Dame and think, man, now obviously his last year in Portland, he averaged 32 a game, but it was only 58 games. But that team was not exactly a playoff caliber team, and Dame was getting them shots up. He was taking 21 shots a game. He took 17.5 in his first year in Milwaukee and 17.1. And I think the advantage for the Celtics is they don't need Dame to be number one, number two, or maybe even number three. Now, I don't know how Dame will feel about being the fourth option behind Tatum, Brown, and White, but it's a situation where he can flourish and he can get his shots and he can spread the floor. And people are like, well, he's not great defensively. But to me, like, you like what 6'1" guard is like a damn defensive stopper. Like, I'm just,
Oh, this is part of that conversation too of what we said earlier. Like, this is going to be a different style of team, and they might have some defensive weaknesses now. Like, they had the luxury of all those years having defenders at every position, guys who can switch everything. That's not how every team's going to be in the league. So you have to prioritize the strengths where you can build them, and they just don't have guard depth right now. You got White, you got Pritchard, and that's great, but there's nothing really behind those guys. So bringing in a Lillard and rounding it out with those three guys, I think is a no-brainer. If they want to shoot a lot of threes, This is a guy that can take 8, 9, 10 threes a game and hit them at an efficient rate. So I love all of it. Low risk with the contract. I don't think there's any reason to not like this, unless you just don't think he fits in personality-wise with the other stars here. But you've reported, Gary, that Tatum's actually trying to get him here, and those guys have a good relationship. I think him and Brown have one too, from what I gather. I don't exactly know that, but I think the stars on this team are amicable enough, and they've shared the backcourt with Kemba in the past and Marcus, obviously, and some other, high usage guards. So I think he wouldn't be a drastic change for some of those guys. And the timeline obviously fits with Tatum too. So, is this something where Tatum's saying like, oh, I want to rehab, have you here and, get through this Achilles thing together? Like, is he pushing for this thing to happen soon?
Yeah, I just was told that they're communicating and Tatum is recruiting. I mean, Tatum is the face of the franchise. So
yep.
I've been told he's recruiting. I don't know if they're like FaceTiming every day or they're on Snapchat and sharing videos and, look at my rehab video. I'm swimming.
Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm swimming. What about you? What are you up to, Dame? Like, I don't know if it's that deep, but they are communicating. And I think that it's, I think we all know Tatum's going to be here for a long time. And I think that the players who have come to Boston, I think, from Kevin Garnett to Ray Allen to Isaiah Thomas, even our friend Marcus Morris, guys who we traditionally thought might not like it here, ended up really liking it in Boston and didn't want to leave. And all the way now to Drew Holiday. He obviously was a fixture here in the community, and it's going to be, Portland might not be. Obviously, it's close to where he's from on the West Coast, but not that close. But in a couple-hour flight. But I'm sure I think he very much enjoyed playing in Boston. Chris Stapps did. So the whole concept of like, you're not going to like it there and the weather and all, I think that it's a first-class organization of how they treat their players. And I think Dame is probably like a little bit older and now understands like, okay, I don't want to be Barkley, Malone, Stockton. I don't want to be these great players who didn't even sniff a championship. Like, I think that's got to be really important as he approaches. I think he's turning 35 in a couple of days. And, as he approaches his late 30s, nothing's promised. And I think he has to kind of take advantage of a championship window.
No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way. Let's
Yeah.
fly out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke